Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah, they can't hear you. I got you muted. All right, how we doing, everybody? Welcome to another episode. You up, Elder?
I'm here. Of course I'm here.
How you doing, Ringer?
Oh, I'm good. We got vacation, we got alcohol, we got SWGOH. Let's talk.
Oh man, he don't get too pass out over there.
Oh, so I showed Trevor and Trouble this, but I got a whole 12-pack ready to go.
Oh man,
Oh, nice.
Look out.
I don't know if we have that much to talk about.
You've met me, right? I can make this go on forever.
So how's everybody's week been in the game?
It's been a decent week. I mean, just playing. I mean, for me, it's mainly been Grand Arena, but those have been going well, so I can't really, no real complaints there.
2 wins in Grand Arena, so that's nice. Conquest, I'm just not stressing over it. You know, I might get the red crate. I might not get the red crate. I'll probably get close one way or the other. But I'm just, you know, I'm not stressing over it like I did with Maul and Cat. You know, what happens is going to happen.
Well, I guess we're gonna go for 3-for-3s on this because I also am 2-0 in Grand Arena, which is a first in a long time.
Nice.
Conquest, where I feel dirty. I bought the Conquest pass, which has been pretty good. We're now a couple shards closer to Django or Boba. I've been doing that all week, where I just keep wanting to say Django. Honestly, I'm kind of going into Conquest this time around because I kind of want Django. God bless it. Boba Fett. Kind of for reasons we'll talk about when we get to the road ahead later. What about you, Trevor?
This is the best GAC I've done. I mean, bracket wise, best. I won by one banner, but other than that, I mean, I'm facing people that they're not built around their Galactic Legend. Like they just put it in, on defense. Well, I'll go around it or I'll beat it, and then they can't beat my gas, so best they can do is go to the top wall. They can't beat my ships, so It's the best I've done. So I'm very happy. I don't like threes, but I'm feeling very good.
So now's when you just stop your farming and you maintain your count status quo for the rest of its life. You've got the perfect GP, the perfect characters. You're just set.
Yeah, I mean, the next tomorrow I'll stream it, but I'm facing another C, and they put him on D, and I'm like, okay, I knew they was gonna do it because I looked him up,
Right.
and I put my C on offense. I'm gonna go through that, and then the other stuff looks pretty decent. I ain't gonna say easy, but you know, decent. I think I outmod them, especially plus the new mods I'm getting. I got like 5 good mods yesterday.
Right on.
So I'm just, yeah, and I was like, heck yeah, baby. Because I was mad. My team lost the game. So I got pissed. So I just started slicing. And then it started hopping. I'm like, well, something's got to go good today. So I've been doing pretty good.
But it wasn't that West Virginia basketball or football.
That was just football, son. We're good at basketball. Football sucks. I start drinking when football comes around. So let me get on over here. Hold on. Our first topic. Got so many Discord pages. All right, so we're gonna go over the new update first. It kind of ties into the gear crunch. It's kind of mixes in. What do you guys think about the new update? We'll just go with Elder, then Trouble, then Ringer, and back to me.
As far as the gear crunch goes, I'm very happy with it. I mean, I've gone from a point where I was struggling to get stun guns all the time to I'm pretty much feeling like I'm getting at least 2 a week now, which has made things so much easier. And then on top of that, with the extra Carbantes, the extra stun cuffs, I'm feeling pretty good about how I'm starting to collect gear now. I was hoping that this was how it was going to play out, and yeah, so far I'm pleased, and I'm hoping that the next phase makes it even better.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's awesome. I've been in horde mode for a couple of weeks now as it is already, so it hasn't really affected me that much. I'm not really upgrading anybody at the moment. I'm saving up to do my bad batch once I get them all to 7-star. But just seeing them, come in when you get your dailies done, and I got a bunch of gold eyeballs today, and it's great. It's just like, wow, I don't have to spend shard shop currency on that anymore. Or get 1 or get 2 currency. I can use that for something else now, which is awesome.
You guys just reminded me that I had to go do my challenges for the day. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat like as Trouble, where I don't really have anything I really need to farm with gear, but watching everything pile in so that I know when the next big thing comes, that I'll just be able to just like drop this horde onto it has been pretty satisfying. Now, if we can get them to do this with like the 1, 2, and 3 are relics, next time I think we'll be in good shape.
I should have said like we should have split it up. Like, how you guys feel about Ago? Like the calendars, like the new update. Then we should with the gear crunch. But anyway, I should have split that up. But anyways, I like the gear crunch because. All right, let's talk about stun guns, stun cuffs. I'm not farming them anymore because I'm getting enough to. Nobody needs stun guns right now, but I got 100. So, and the stun cuffs got over 300, and then you get those. I think it's great for the game. You don't have to farm those. You don't have to waste extra energy on them. I still do once in a while. I still need the golden eyeballs. Golden eyes. I still need a lot of those. Where I'm going for Jedi Master Luke. A lot of Mon Mothma needed a lot. So there. I'm liking it. I'm like y'all. I can't wait till the next thing comes around. What they're gonna bring to help us out even more. I'm liking the calendars myself. I didn't buy any of the calendars. I held off. I didn't think it was worth the buck, but that's just me. I like a little bit more investment on the relic calendar myself. At the end of the calendar, it looks good, but I couldn't see myself paying that plus the battle pass for Conquest. What do you think, Elder?
For the calendars, I mean, like I said, as a person who plays Marvel Strike Force, I'm used to seeing multiple things that you can collect every day. So on that front, having extra things to get every day, I mean, who's going to really be upset about getting free stuff? I mean, but a couple of the calendars I looked at, the ones that you would buy, a couple of them look okay. A couple of them I wouldn't touch if my life depended on it. The one thing I did like was that one that they data mined for the Lucasfilm 50th anniversary. That one, like, it's going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the free one coming in. And I mean, like, I think it was like you're getting a full Carbonti, a full stun cuff. I don't see any issues with that. I think it's going to be amazing. If you're going to bring in free ones like that, keep them coming.
And I got to think for the new players, it's got to be amazing for them too. Like, you know, players that are just hitting, you know, level 85 and or, you know, 2 million GP and lower that are just, you know, trying to gear up everything. It's got to be just amazing for them. You know,
or even just those people who are falling behind, and
sure,
it gives them a chance to catch up a little bit.
For player retention, I think it's a really, really big move on their part. I don't know if they're as CG or EA, but their part.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. I think the relic calendar is probably worth it, especially like in the late game, where you're having issues getting like the early gear. Like my biggest crunch right now is actually those the carbonite pieces of the first part for relic materials.
For the relics.
Yep,
yeah,
that's
my whatever the first one is.
Yep, that's my biggest crunch in the game right now. So that relic calendar, for the most part, looks very enticing. If the Phoenix had been a Bad Batch calendar, I would have hated myself a little bit more, and I probably would have bought it.
No, see, I think that would have been depending on the price. Who knows what they charge for it? But that's to me would be worthwhile. Phoenix, you know. They're okay early game, and then they have like literally no use after that at all. So, you know, why do you want to spend money on that?
Until
that might not be true for much longer.
Yeah, I was gonna say until coming around.
I mean, it's gonna depend on what her. Oh, I guess we'll save that for when we get there.
I just thought I just didn't see myself buying that pack for the calendars. Because I saw different reviews and it had me mixed feelings. So it put me neutral. So I looked at a couple people that actually did reviews on them. And then it put me at neutral. So I was like, I'm waiting. That one calendar, the 50th anniversary, does look very good. You guys mentioned, I forgot to mention that. But yeah, it was on a data mine. And it looks very, very good. And plus it's free, you know, we're on free calendars this month. But
is that already in the calendar shop right now?
No, it's just in the data mine.
From they said next week it's coming in.
You can see the pictures in the data mine.
So just go with the data mine.
Yeah, it's very. I like it. We'll go to the next topic while you're looking at that. Whenever the gear crunch, what do you think the next? How can they ease up the next? Did they say like had like 6 or 7 phases of this gear crunch?
I don't remember how many, but I know that I know they at least mentioned 3. I'm not sure how much farther they were going from that.
I thought Crumb said he had 6 phases lined up. He was on somebody's stream and he said they have 6. They're going to see how 1 through 4 goes, and then maybe they'll put 5 and 6 out there.
I feel like 5 and 6 has to be relic materials because with the addition of Gear 9, you already have a gear lot. Like Gear 5, Relic 5 and up is already. Actually, I might rephrase that. Relic 6, 7, 8, and 9, for the most part, are still hard to get through. 5, not so much, because, I mean, if you're doing the C-Pit, Electriums are more easy to come by. A large part of the player base still isn't doing C-Pit or for clearing, which is a gate in and of itself. But you get so many of those MK3 hollow projectors that Relic 5 is a very easy gate to pass. Where if you want to flood those and say, all right, you still need the Electriums, the Zimbittles, the arrow magnifiers, and the impulse detectors, and whatever the 2 pieces for Gear 9 are, I don't know what they are off the top of my head. That's still a large crunch. As for Gate 2, I can almost promise you what it should be is the raid exclusive gear. So you're talking about your MK5 droid collars, your I mean, those are the big ones that's the big one that comes to mind for me. I don't really is there any other raid exclusive gear that just stands out to anyone else?
I'll have to look it up in game.
Yeah,
That's where I'm going right now.
Let me.
sure there's another one, but it's not in my brain right now.
Here.
Never one that I seem to need, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, the droid collars are like a huge gate still, very much like stun guns were. So, I mean, I think that's the next area you look at.
I'm looking now. Hold on 1 second.
I think another part of that gate is going to be those the last spot in Gear 12. There's those one specific piece that you can only really get either through the store, which I mean they're only selling like 2 to 4 at a time. I'm trying to think of names.
I mean, sure, the Gear 12 Plus is definitely another area where they can start putting in more resources towards.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep the gate at Relic 5, like you were saying. I think they're going to start opening everything else up to Gear 13. But they have to keep some gate because that's where they're making their money, right? So, and I think that's R5 and up.
Well, I've put strong gates on. Yeah, I think they've put strong gates on Relic 8 and Relic 9 at this point. Where, I mean, if you're not in a big guild, Relic 9 is really tough to get no matter what you do. And like you said, if you're not at Relic 5 so you can get into that C-Pit, Relic 8 is also very tough to get at this point. So the average community member is going to be able to get the gear to Relic 7 on their own if they work hard at it. And then after that, you got to start maneuvering a little bit. But yeah, up to I agree with you guys. I mean, if all these levels get you up to Relic 5, then I think that's where that's a good place to be. I didn't even think it would go that far. I thought maybe they'd get you up to Relic 3 and then kind of leave you on your own. Go ahead, take care of it from there. But yeah, like I said, the biggest thing to me is you got to start working on getting people to Gear 13, because if you can't even get past the right side of Gear 12, you're in trouble. There's no way you can keep up.
Definitely.
I think I was looking while you was talking. Gyrotech. I just need one. I think with the stun guns and subcutters, that's Cryotech. I needed a lot for my monthly. Just saying. That was a lot I needed. And what's the other one? It's tied with it. Hold on, I'm looking in game.
I would say I do think Kyrotex is another thing that's going to have to be a stage in there.
Mm-hmm.
You give them to every character, every character needs them to get to gear 13. And the new characters to come out have at least 2 to 3 of them that you need. That's 50 per. That starts to add up very quickly.
It's called the Cryotech Prototype Salvage with the other Cryotech.
Yeah, the battle computer and the shock prod.
Yeah, those, because every new character has to have them.
Those are the new
So-
stun cuff and Carbonti, basically.
Yeah. I'm just saying, another couple years. But I think
I agree with you to a point. Like, the shock prods definitely need a release. But the battle computers, you only need for about 1/3 of the characters for their Gear 13 piece.
You don't need as many.
And I mean, when you start looking at like how many Chirotechs you get throughout like just a month, I mean, you're already getting 3 every day if you do your dailies. You have the resources from your light side and dark side TBs, TW. And there's just so many that you have the opportunity to get already.
I mean,
I don't think it's enough.
Even if you're at a point where, I mean, the one issue I do see though is there's only one node on each side that is available to go after them with. Given you can only farm so much on one of those nodes, but even if you took it and threw it on a fleet node, I mean, once you run out of characters on fleet, there's really only 2 real gear spots there to go after for anything. I mean, if you threw a couple extra nodes on there and just threw Chirotechs in there just to make it a little bit easier to use some of that extra energy on, I mean, that wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah, I kind of disagree. Not with you, Elder. I think they need to be more farmable. I was going back to what Ringer said. I just still think they need to be more farmable because we all have different accounts. You're way higher than me. Both you and Trouble are. So right now, I really need them a lot. In my mind, so I consider myself mid game since I'm like 4.8, just so almost there to 4.9. So I think they should be a little bit more farmable. But like I said, they're the next stun guns, and Crom did even.
There's got to be something that you can't just like unlock a character and then get them up to gear 13.
Yeah.
You know.
And Crom even said, "Well, we fixed the stun guns. Well, the Cryotech is going to open another door. So we don't want to." He said, "We don't want to keep opening things and make it a bigger problem." And that's exactly what's happened with that. But yeah, there's a couple more pieces. I ain't gonna look in the game, but there's a couple more pieces. I think. I don't know what they said about. They haven't said anything about Phase 2 yet, but if it's like what they did in Phase 1, I'll be very happy. Because as long as you do your dailies, I mean, challenges.
Well, I think another thing we have to keep in mind here too is, I mean, we're talking about several phases of gear changes and making things easier. We also have to keep in mind this isn't something that's going to happen in the course of like 2 months. I mean, yeah, Phase 1 just hit. I mean, it might still be a month before we see Phase 2. By the time we get to all these phases, we might still be a year and a half down the line. So it's not like we're looking at this like, oh, by the way, we need to have that taken care of we need to have Chirotechs take within the next 2 weeks. It's at the earliest, like say 6 to 8 months down the line before you even see anything with that. So I just think that's something we have to keep in mind also, is that we're not looking at like a very short timetable here.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a while.
I actually think it'll be within the next road ahead. We'll see right at Phase 2.
All right. So we did want to go. Let's go ahead and go on the road ahead. You have it up and I have it up, right? Ringer.
Yes.
Okay. I just pulled it up as well. You want to go over a couple things? We can. We pretty much went over. The dailies have 2 gear 12s in them now. If you got, I know you all know this, but it gives like they'll give. I've got a couple stun guns off of it as well. So, we already went over the weekly. It says Galactic Challenge rewards. Prize boxes below the max reward will be increased. Galactic Challenge moving forward. The max will remain approximately the same, but the ramp up for rewards for these maxes will be less steep in order to boost rewards for new and mid-level players. Speaking of that, I have thought the Galactic Challenges have been easier.
Yeah, I think that's kind of one of the funny things I was going to say was, yeah, they're making the rewards better for the smaller boxes. And the last couple, I've actually been able to get the max crate both times, so it hasn't even affected at this point. Because usually, I mean, I go through some of those and I get as far as I can, but I know I don't have the best lineups to get through everything. But I just found it funny that, wow, here it is. I get a chance to get some better stuff that I can help my guys out with, and nope. It's nice and easy, and I'm able to get all the way through this time.
Yeah, some of the data discs this time are awesome. I'm totally enjoying.
Anything on the Galactic Challenges, Ringer?
No, they've been pretty nice so far. I liked the ship one. I literally just had to do the ships, and that was it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. You want to do the next topic? I mean, the road ahead.
You want the phase 1 or do you want the mode specific characters?
Do the phase 1.
While this week's title update starts the process of gear changes, we still have many more adjustments to come. In phase 1, we still have changes to hard node gear drop rates, territory battle reward flattening, and adding in a new dedicated slot in the shard shop that only provides core gear. Once it's complete, we'll begin speaking to what phase 2 encompasses in the near future.
Quick question. Did they add the extra slot in the shard shop?
I believe they did.
Possibly.
I'm checking now just to make sure.
Everybody's logged in.
Accessing.
Access denied. I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. It looks.
Yeah, it seems it's pretty symmetrical still. I don't feel like there's an extra one in here.
Yeah, because the bottom, I don't think that was core gear. Because mine on my bottom it's blue, so I don't consider that core gear.
Right? No. Yeah, I've got blue and green.
Yeah. I really don't think they've added that yet. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if they added anything on the TB rewards flattening.
Probably not yet.
No.
I mean, you have to remember that this has only been out for 2 weeks, and usually the road ahead spans a 3-month period of what their goals are.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone who gets 32, 33 stars in Dark Side TB and about 30 in Light Side TB, I don't necessarily know how I feel about them flattening these rewards, but that's just me. Trouble's over there sipping his tea. He's like, I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I don't care.
Well, you big whales. Us fish got to eat too.
Hey.
Right, Elder?
I don't spend money on this game.
I do what I can to get what I need. So.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't seen anything yet, so it might be a couple. Maybe January. Who knows?
August.
I hope not. Okay, so they did list some new features, special login calendars. We did go over a little bit. I do like this feature. You can buy them or they're free. Obviously, if you can spend the money, do it. I do spend when it benefits me. That's just me. If financially, if you can, if you like doing that, that's awesome. But if they do have a couple free ones, it says they ramped up the login calendar UI, and now additional calendars can be active for extra daily rewards. I mean, after next week, we'll have 3 free calendars. I don't think they'll run 3 all the time. But I did see a Padme calendar. I wasn't corrected. On the... hold on. I did see... from data mines, actually. Oh, no. Looking it up. Yeah, I think they've thrown in some more calendars, actually, to buy. I mean, I don't need a Padme calendar, but that's just me.
Yeah, but it's good that would be good for people who are in the early game that are just getting in, trying to build things up.
New players, yes, it'd be they want to spend $20 and get Padme. Yeah, there you go.
Well, and I think for a new user too, or a newer player, it's awesome because they can, you know, passively farm Padme while they're working on something else. You know, which in the early game, it's really hard to kind of do that, be farming 1 or 2 different teams at the same time. So I think, yeah, again, for the new user, these calendars could be great.
I mean, especially at Padme, when you're already in a position where you're able to farm Jedi Knight Anakin right away and Ahsoka right away. I mean, that's a really strong team that you can build up in the early game.
Especially GAC.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially if you can get into like a guild that's already doing the tank on auto, like early on, you can get General Kenobi going within the first. I think I had General Kenobi at 6 stars on my new player account within the 2 to 3 months we were doing the new player accounts.
That's awesome.
So I mean, you get those together, you already have your core Padme team ready to go within not that much time at all.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, that puts you on a good path even right away if you're just talking about regular arena. Like I said, I mean, it gives you some to work in the territory wars. You can definitely compete in some of the earlier territory battles if they're doing like Hoth or something like that. And if it's good, you can even be all right in Geonosis.
Omicrons or not, that is a better calendar than the Phoenix calendar.
Is there a worse calendar than the Phoenix calendar?
Not sure.
Like Ewoks, maybe?
Ewoks are at least Ewoks are fun.
Yeah,
Jawas are fun too.
Hey, don't be dissing my Ewoks.
Right now in Conquest with that thermal detonator disc, whichever I can't remember what it's called. I wish I had Jawas relicked up right now. They would be so much freaking fun in Conquest. I bet you can make it all the way to Sector 5 with them and those discs.
Be right back.
I actually did think about relicking up my my Jawas. Once I finish Bad Batch. Let's go on to mode-specific characters and abilities. Do you guys have the road ahead pulled up, or you want me to just go with it?
I do not.
I do have it
but I
pulled
don't.
up, but I do have it pulled up, but you can go with it.
Alrighty. Mode-specific characters and abilities. Oh boy, let's unpack this. The next title update marks the release of the first character with mode-specific abilities in Galaxy of Heroes. New units, more on who that is in a moment, and some existing characters will have a new tier added to their abilities that boost those units to the next level in a specific mode. This new type of ability will require a unique material called Omnicrons. And what Trouble did was we call foreshadowing. Omnicrons add utility to characters in specific modes of the game, which we detail when we discuss mode-specific abilities. They will actually bring older characters into greater relevance by increasing their abilities to be on par with more powerful units. The power of these specific abilities can vary from legendary levels of power, in a rare case, all all the way up to rivaling Galactic legends in their specific mode. I like it. I like it. Omnicron tier will be above the unit's Zeta tier ability if a Zeta is present. Omnicrons are available primarily as rewards from Galactic challenges, but a small amount can also be earned in Conquest and from Cantina nodes. I haven't seen any outside of the signal data yet. Did you guys see any outside the signal data, or are they just on those 3 nodes?
It's just on those 3 nodes.
I think I got.
But I was gonna say I did see them given out in a couple of places. I know in the weekly shipment store, they've been offering like you could buy 2 for I believe it's an amount of
10,000 shard shop currency.
Yeah,
right.
something like that. Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous number.
Nope.
But it is available.
Take my chances
Okay.
with RNG.
How many do you need? Is it 20?
It is.
More foreshadowing.
It is 20.
Is it 20?
Yep.
All right.
20 that 10 omegas and purple mats, but everybody has those.
We
Yeah,
can
that's
will also
ridiculous.
provide Omnicrons for the shard shop currency. These are initial sources for Omnicron as we build up a library of characters with mode specific abilities. So it's what it sounds like to me is we're getting everyone in the roster will have a mode specific ability at some point.
Right.
Well,
What's up?
so what do you think of the character list they got here?
Foreshadowing, my guy.
I mean, as far as the character
Spoiler.
list, I don't see an issue with the character list. I mean, it's a bunch of characters that we don't use anymore, or have no purpose really in the game. At least it gives them a new place to be used in the game. I don't anything that allows me to use characters that I'm basically have shelved for no reason at all. I don't have a problem with.
Well, especially if they're ones they made, they forced us to relic to get
Mhm.
GLs.
Absolutely.
Like
Okay,
Darth Sidious.
Rubber
Keep
Officer
using
Leia.
it. He's just terrible. It's terrible.
Looking
It's
at you,
useless.
looking at you, Rose Tico.
I mean, yeah,
Quancon.
Stunts.
that relic is still one of the most painful relics I've ever done in my life.
Oh God.
Quancon Jin. I think he needs reworked anyway, but I think depends what modes they're going to be good in. I think that's going to help a Jedi team out.
So the 3 that I'm actually really interested on this list for is Chief Chirpa, Chief Nebbit, and Hera.
Mm-hmm.
These are 3 factions that have been in desperate need of a power-up for a long time. And I'm curious as to what they're going to do. Like, where we're going to see these factions get better.
I think if I wanted to add one to that, I'm also interested in where they're going to go with Rolo, because if you take away the CLS team, there's really, people can say what they want about Mom Mothma, but there's still so many more Rebel characters that just don't have use anymore.
True.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with her. I have a feeling she's going to end up with a TB ability, since you do need her on one of the TB nodes for light side Hoth.
I still wouldn't see an issue with that.
I wouldn't have an issue with that either.
Yeah, but I want to. Well, how would that work though? Like, she's only good in Hoth, and she won't be good in Geo's TB.
I guess that's
Do
what
I
we're
look-
going to find out. I mean,
Do I look like a CG dev to you, Trevor? I don't fucking know.
Hey, you ever here throwing out knowledge? I'm just saying.
I'm throwing out speculation. Tinfoil hat, my guy.
Get it on.
Actually, the dog ate it. I actually did build one, and then the dog got to it. So we don't have the tinfoil hat this week.
All right. Skip to Conquest.
Actually, before you do that, there is one thing I do want to
Go ahead.
bring up though. Just going back to the whole Omicron thing. When they released Omicrons, I actually went around and I was talking to different people in the community because I was curious about how good farming these Omicrons would be, because I had noticed in the first 3 days that I had farmed, I had did full refreshes on those nodes. Not because I was trying to go for Omicrons. I mean, I'm trying to build up signal data just because signal data is needed for relics. But I noticed I hadn't gotten any Omicrons at that point. So I went around to see how bad the RNG is. And I remember in those first 3 days, between talking to me, different streamers, hearing from what other people were experiencing, at that point, there was only 3 Omicrons that were received in those first 3 days between... It was about 75 refreshes worth of going through that content, and it's kind of scaring me just how low that number is, that percentage is. I understand it's new, it's gonna need to be a little bit harder to get, but I still look at it to this day. I have 3 of them at the moment. I don't know necessarily where I've gotten them from, but I know that I have not gotten a single one of them from farming.
Right.
And I do maximum refreshes every day because I'm stockpiling signal data. One would think that after that much time, I would have at least gotten one. I'm kind of wondering why the Amicron drop rate is this excessively low right now. I mean, if you had told me, okay, I mean, maybe a couple a week, I understand that. That's expected. But after, it's been almost 3 weeks now, no, 2 weeks, I would have expected to at least get one by now. I'm a little worried about that drop rate.
Yeah, I remember Omegas for a long time. The drop rate was an issue, and then at some point, it no longer, for me, and I don't know if that's just because of where I'm at GP wise or whatever, it no longer was an issue, and now I have 500 Omegas. But I remember a time when I needed to actually actively try and farm them, and I was, actively farming nodes that would, give me Omegas occasionally, and it was brutal. But it wasn't as bad as this. You're right. I think this is worse. I don't know what the drop rate is. I guess it probably hasn't really been long enough to have enough data, but I'm sure somebody somewhere is tracking it.
I'm sure Project Corazon is tracking it. I have to go check and see if I can find it in their server.
I know that on the GA Center, it's super low. I mean, Ray Rock said he's got 2. I don't know how over here.
Yeah, I've come up with 2 so far as well.
I think I have as well. I have 4. How many did we?
We get 2 from each Galactic challenge.
Gotcha.
If you get the red crate.
Gotcha. So that's where I got mine.
Yeah,
Oh.
I got 2 from the red crate and 2 from nodes.
Yeah, I haven't got any. Like, I do my relic refreshes on those and get those pieces, and I haven't got any yet. It must be super low drop rate. I rarely get Omegas either. I mean, I have Omegas, but I rarely get them from there.
Yeah, I don't think they ever upped that. I think it's just, I don't know if they made the, if they made it so you need the Zetas more than the Omegas at this point or not. But I just don't have a problem with them being a bottleneck anymore at all.
It's weird. I mean, for a while, Zetas were a bottleneck, and now it feels like you can get Zetas everywhere. But Omegas have become my bottleneck again. Those hold me back a lot as I'm trying to build characters up.
Gotcha.
I mean, you can buy Zetas now. I mean,
you can buy Omegas too, but I mean, where you would buy them, it's not worth it, really.
Yeah, no, I would think not.
Oh,
Here we go. I've got 415 Zeta Mats and 836 Omegas. Good God.
All right, next topic, Conquest, our favorite topic. Viewers are gonna drop now. I'm actually enjoying Conquest. I don't know if it is. Go
I
ahead.
kind of am too. It's weird, you know. I maybe it's, the lowered expectations thing, where I'm like going into this thing thinking I gotta hate this, but I'm actually kind of enjoying it. I think the data discs are awesome. I'm having a lot of fun.
Well, everybody's finding those combos. We'll go over the combos. I like the battle pass myself. Technically, I don't have to go to the red crate. I can go a little under, and I'll still get Boba. So that's a plus for me. I don't have to go super hard. I am though. You know what I mean? I'm still going pretty hard on it. But it's in the end of the 2 weeks, I'm like, all right, I'll be at the gold crate. I'm fine. Sets me up good. And I like the extra stuff they're giving. Not just the free stuff. Not just the pay stuff, but the free stuff too. So I mean, like the speed booster, the get your energy back, stamina, and stuff like that. I've used them, so I mean, I think that's very well good. The feats, there's not as many as feats. I liking that as well. So I'm really enjoying it. Like when I talk about it on my stream, people start saying, "Well, it's still trash." But that's something I enjoy right now. I mean, it's just people's topics, opinions are different. So what do you think, Elder?
I think I'm gonna start with this. Do I still think it's trash? Yes. Do I think that they've taken steps in the right? do I think they've taken steps in the right direction? Yes. I think it is an improved run from what the last one was. Like you said, I like that they're giving extra rewards. They're useful, they're helpful. The one thing that I absolutely love is my Amplify Agony is back, so I've regained my C3PO Death Glare. That's one of my favorite things to use in the Conquest. If you don't know, if you use C3PO on a Padme team with Amplify Agony, you can pretty much nuke anything that's around, and it's so much fun. But that's one of my personal things that I enjoy out of it. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, I think it's a big improvement. They still have a little ways to go though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess where I'm at too now is that it's fun because I'm just finishing Sector 5 right now. I haven't got to the part where it's like, okay, now I have to do 10 Night Sister battles and however many smuggler battles. I've been doing them on the way, but I haven't had to just sit down and only do the feats. And that's when it starts to get tedious and boring, for me anyways. At least the battles are easy though. With these crazy card combinations or disc combinations now, you know, I'm using the volatile accelerator with thermal exhaust and amplify agony, and like the teams just melt. It's way too much fun.
I love that everybody has their own strategies that they use. That's the one thing I do like about Conquest, is learning different strategies that other people are using to get through them.
Ringer?
I'm kind of at the same point where Eldor's at. I'd say is a step up from last Conquest, and they're not as not being as feet heavy is actually a very nice change of pace. But to say, yeah, this is great as opposed to the first 6 Conquests, where it was fun, where you could just go through and just kind of like plow through it and be done with it. I think CG still has some work on this mode before we can call it like a success.
Yeah, I agree. They still have a lot of work to do. It is better than last season. last Conquest.
It seems like it is pretty easy for them to fix on the fly too. Like, 2 years ago, having brought in a mode like this, it would have taken 6 months for them to change anything. Even the feats, it probably would have just taken them 6 months to change, let alone, all the nodes have different teams on them and different layouts, and they're swapping in new backgrounds and stuff. The Unity move, I think we're finally sort of starting to see some of the fruits of that labor, waiting for them to move over to their new engine, their new back end, or whatever you want to call it, which is giving them the flexibility to do stuff a little bit quicker.
So speaking of Conquest, we'll go over the Boba Fett. Reason I'm pushing Conquest a lot, I want to be one of the first people to try out Boba Fett. I mean, I think he's gonna be so good. We can go over his kit a little bit. Let me just click this link.
Real quick, while you're going through that, according to Planet Coruscant, their data chat, the drop rate for Omnicrons is about 1.4%.
Yikes.
Granted, that is only out of a sample size of 146 attempts with 2 successes. So your margin of error is still kind of high, but that seems to be the running pattern across.
And for me, that still seems low. That still seems high.
Yeah.
Do they know what a megas is?
I'm sure they do. I'd have to go through and actually look through the chat.
Okay, I was like, if you compare the two,
Right.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. If we can, we'll before the podcast's over, we'll compare.
All right, I got the abilities up. I haven't really read them a lot. This is the first time I'm actually went through and seen them. I'll do the first one. It says basic double action. Deal physical damage to target enemy twice. If the target enemy has no protection, this ability deals damage 2 more times. If the enemy has no protection. Okay, I like that. Gain 1 stack of momentum for 3 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Momentum abilities gain additional effects based on the number of stacks. Interesting.
I mean, there's definitely potential there.
Yeah. Looks like they have. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up real quick. Might be hard with our pictures. Looks like I haven't looked at his leader ability, but looks like they have him in the lead. But do you have this up, Bringer? Or no?
Which one?
His abilities?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll just keep going. The second one is dual barrage. Barrage. This is why I'll have Ringer do this one. Deal physical damage to target enemy and the weakest enemy. Deal physical damage to target enemy and the weakest enemy. Okay. The ability has additional effects based on the number of stacks the minimum Boba Fett has. 5 stacks, all bounty hunters or counter allies gain intensity for up to 2 turns. 9 stacks, all bounty hunters counter allies gain up to 3 turns. Okay. Gain 1 stack of momentum for 3 turns if the target enemy is infected with armor shred. Gain an additional stack of momentum. These momentum gains can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. This is one I like. While in territory war, this ability gains new benefit based on number of stacks. 16 stacks. All bounty hunters, scoundrel allies gain intensity for 3 turns and inflict protection, disruption for 2 turns These effects cannot be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Last line here. Protection is disabled, immune to protection up, and bonus protection. That's protection disruption.
So does protection disabled? Does that mean they lose their protection, like with C? You know what I mean? Where their protection bar just disappears. 'Cause it says protection is disabled.
Yeah,
And that's what it sounds like, but it sounds like it's a temporary, unlike with C, where you basically just lose
you can get it
and-
back.
Right.
it says it's only for 2 turns though, because that means they would get it back then.
Right.
They've got-
After two turns, they get their protection back.
Okay,
In
also
true
to stop
CG
us from
fashion,
getting
they've got a GIF of it running on the page, but nobody has health or protection that you can see.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
is also worth noting that it's not going to stop them from gaining bonus protection. Because if you look in the challenge pit, Rey can still give out her bonus protection to people, even with protection disabled.
Interesting.
I mean, that being said, I mean, it plays very well into the basic ability. It means if you're gonna face one in territory war, you got to get rid of him quick because it's gonna be trouble for any team to bring in against it. If you're not bringing in, say, a Ray team where you can work around that. I mean, it's got potential to be a really strong ability.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, we did that one. All right. Next one is. Did that one? Looks like the same, but I'll read it again. It says Bounty Breaker. This deals physical damage to all enemies and inflict 2 damage over time effects for 2 turns. I like that. This ability has additional effect based on the number of stacks of momentum Boba Fett has. 3 stacks, ability does 25% more damage. 6 stacks, 25% more damage. Inflicts intensity down for 2 turns. 12 stacks, 30% more damage if it inflicts intensity down and potency down for 2 turns. 16 stacks, 30% more damage. Inflicts tendency, potency, and breach for 2 turns. Gain 1 stack of momentum for 3 turns. Can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Blocked text. This ability becomes blocked for 1 turn after being used 3 turns in a row. So you can use it 3 turns and after block for 1 turn after 3 turns. Also, after 3 turns, it'll be blocked.
Another thing I want to say real quick is I'm finding it interesting that these 2 special abilities have no cooldown.
Yeah, that's probably why they put the lock on there.
No, and that's understandable, but I mean, it definitely makes for. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen us come across anything where outside of a basic ability, we've gotten abilities that you can just keep spamming off. Obviously, they'll be blocked if you do it, but obviously, if you play it right, you can keep those up forever.
Reading the kit, I mean, is it going to be stacked like every hit? You can get a stack?
I mean, that's what it's looking like. It looks like so far through those first 3 abilities, each one has said gain 1 stack of momentum.
I think each hit will stack, and then you just keep going. If you hit like 3 or 4 people, and it sticks, that's 6 stacks. Is that where we're getting at?
Gain 1 stack for 3 turns. But it seems like the stacks expire though, potentially, right? Because they say gain 1 stack of momentum for 3 turns. So what happens after 3 turns and you haven't used it? You consume the stack in some way. Does it disappear?
Well, I think it sits there for the 3 turns. I mean, you have to consider with characters like Bosk and Garif, you're gonna be calling Boba Fett in to assist
Boba
frequently.
Fett. Boba Fett.
Where? You've been calling him to assist pretty frequently, so he's going to be getting these stacks of momentum pretty quickly.
Gotcha. Right, and it'll supersede the amount of turns he takes. Interesting.
The leader ability. Dangerous reputation.
Can I say one thing before you do this?
Uh-huh.
I love the West Virginia accent because the entire time you were sitting there trying to pronounce Boba Fett, all I kept hearing was Boba Fett, and all I could think was Boba Fett's shrimp.
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway, bounty hunters or scoundrel allies have 50% critical avoidance while they have intensity up. While debuffed, bounty hunter or scoundrel allies gain 40% critical damage. That's that special ability with Omicron. As I say it. Amicron.
Omnicron?
Omicron, yeah. That's what it has parentheses.
There's only one end though. There's no. It's Omicron or whatever.
Omicron.
That's only going to affect the where it says while in territory war.
Okay. When Boba Fett is the leader slot, not the ally slot, the following contract is active. Contract. While buffed, damage a debuffed enemy 20 times. Enemies must be debuffed before the start of an attack to count progress. Only bounty hunter and scoundrel allies can contribute to the contract.
If I'm right, that's pretty much the same thing that Jango Fett has.
Reward. All bounty hunter allies have their payouts active. All bounty hunter or scoundrel allies gain 25% offense, health steal, and ignore taunt.
Nice.
This is the one right here where everybody's been wanting to look. While in territory war, bounty hunter or scoundrel allies have plus 30% speed, 50% mastery. I think that's huge. Plus 30% potency, max health, max protection, and take 80% less damage. I think that's huge.
Absolutely.
That's on par with a Bosk lead. Actually, it's better than Bosk leads. And it's a combination of Django and Bosk. Because you're getting a 30 speed, you're getting less damage, more health and protection.
Just no health regeneration.
Yeah, I mean, but if you put the team around this correctly, I don't think you need the health regeneration.
If you've got Grief in there, you're okay anyways. He'll do it.
It says at the bottom, Boba Fett gains additional 60 speed with 100% max health and max protection. Contract requirements and rewards are adjusted as follows. So he will gain extra. I'm guessing after the contract down here. While buff, damage a debuff enemy 10 times. Enemies must be debuffed before the start of the attack to count progress.
It sounds like what that's saying is if you're in a territory war, basically you get to this in half the time.
So when does he gain the 60%? I mean, not 60% speed, 60 speed.
In a territory war, once the contract is hit.
So after it's hit, he gets an extra 60 speed.
Right.
Yeah.
So Boba Fett is gaining plus 90 speed, plus 130% max health and protection.
Okay.
And in territory wars, they only have to do this 10 times instead of 20.
And down here at the bottom it says reward. All bounty hunter allies have their payouts active. All bounty hunter scoundrel allies gain 25% offense and health steal. Ignore taunt each time they deal damage with an ability. They deal damage additional time as true damage.
More true damage.
It sounds like bounty hunters going to be really tough to beat in territory wars.
Well, I mean, okay, it has a unique Fett legacy. It's a Zeta. Boba Fett has 50% offense. At the start of the encounter, Boba Fett gains bounty hunter's resolve until he is defeated. I think everybody gets that. When Boba Fett gains a stack of momentum, he gains 5% turn meter. If Boba Fett uses the same ability 3 turns in a row, the ability becomes blocked for 1 turn. Well, they had that up earlier.
Right.
So that's the same. And here's another territory one. Boba Fett is immune to enemy ability blocks and stuns. Whenever he defeats an enemy, he recovers 100% protection, gains bounty hunter's resolve until he's defeated. Double action, dual garage, and bounty breaker generate an additional stack of momentum when used. Bounty breaker's debuffs cannot be resisted or dispelled. So you cannot stun him or ability block him while in territory wars. Correct?
At that front line of Boba Fett bounty hunters is going to be a lot of fun to get through.
I mean, all you gotta do is set him on the
I can see the walls now.
top wall.
So
All right.
what his ability really reads is if you don't have Relic 7 bounty hunters, get on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, his last unique, Boba Fett's payout. Plus, says when Boba Fett receives rewards from a contract or when the leader is a non-bounty hunter, scoundrel ally, he also gains the following payout.
Mhm.
Contracts are granted by certain bounty hunters. Okay. Payout. Boba Fett gains 30% critical avoidance, defense, penetration, and all momentum gains are double the rest of the battle. So when the leader is non-bounty hunter.
I think it means when the leader is another bounty hunter scoundrel ally. Because I think this is
When
when
leader is
his
another.
leader.
If he's in a bounty hunter team, but he's not leader.
Right.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It says when the leader is another non-bounty hunter.
Not the typo on CG's part.
Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty much the same thing that every bounty hunter has. There's that one special thing that they gain whenever a contract goes off for themselves, never mind the whole team. Which in his case, it's just furthering my belief that those walls are going to be right there when people start getting these teams together.
Or you're gonna have, or you're gonna have to use a GL and take him out first.
I mean, you better hope that your GL can at this rate.
Because you're gonna have to work really fast against these guys to beat them.
Put Kenobi in there. Light him up. I mean, he's not. We know he's gonna be good in territory wars. So I mean, especially with R9 in territory wars plus him in territory wars. Territory wars gonna be hopping.
I mean, but I think that's one of the things that I was talking about a couple podcasts ago was how it's nice to see it. Territory wars have gotten stale, so it's going to be nice to see something new or some new ability that's going to change things up a little bit. You're going to have to rethink how you're playing a certain team because when you're not fighting this team in the territory war, it's going to be a much different fight from when you're fighting them in the territory war. So that part of it I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons I want to get him because I think he looks like he's gonna be a beast. Get all your bounty hunters ready. I mean, that's just my thoughts, but
My bounty hunters are there. I mean, I don't have Fennec, but I got everything else. I love my bounty hunters.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Thanks to execute. Oh my god.
Calculator.
Yeah, that thing. And Anakin. Bounty hunters are should be pretty much there for me as well.
I'd say I'm probably a little behind, but nothing that I can't catch up quickly.
What's the ideal team with him?
I mean,
Off of first glance, I would say if you're going to use that, I mean, I know just on the contract idea alone, I know whenever I use Django, I made sure I had AoE ability bounty hunters in there just so I could make sure that I could get his contract off as quickly as possible. I know that always helped. I mean, I don't know if that'll necessarily be as good here, but it's one of the things that I would be thinking of first.
Yeah, I think you're looking at Bosk, Django, Boba, and then probably Grief for the heals and the mass assists. Because once you put a debuff on someone, you can just mass assist them down with Bosk and Boba, or not Boba, Grief, and trigger that contract quickly. And even faster in territory wars. I mean, you only need to pop both those once, and you have like this contract should be going off.
And even if you don't go that way, I mean, you use Django's fire ability. It puts the burn on everybody, and then you follow it up with Boba Fett, who can use his ability block, his special for ability block, and that's 5 hits right there without even going into anything.
Yep. And then you also have Bosk's multi-hit, the middle one, whatever it's called. Yeah, I think I would probably keep using Django with Separatists and keep Mando in the team because I don't know where else he might go. I guess he could go in a Maul team in 5s, a new Maul. But yeah, I've been using Django a lot with Separatists, with Newt and Dooku and that sort of thing for the last little while. So I'd probably end up going Bosk, Boba, new Boba. What is it? Scion of Django, Boba, and then Grief and Mando. Because I like to disintegrate things, and he never gets to do that on other teams.
That'll definitely open up quickly on this team, I believe.
I mean,
No, your Maul got disintegrated. Whatever will you do?
all right. Let's see. I mean, I still think it's gonna make the bounty hunters super good, especially with Mando's coming around season.
I mean, that's not even playing into whatever we're gonna find when this Boba Fett show comes out. Who knows what other new bounty hunter characters coming on with that?
Yeah, that's the next topic. You wrote a Boba Fett trailer. I haven't watched it.
Before we get into that, do you want to talk about the 6-year anniversary that they released?
What 6-year anniversary?
6-year anniversary of Galaxy of Heroes.
Yep.
Uh,
So Galaxy of Heroes turned 6 years old. We'll be celebrating the 6 years of Galaxy of Heroes on November 21st. So that is approximately 2 weeks from today. We will be doing the podcast on year 6. Go us.
Woo!
As always, we have
Just like we planned it.
Exactly.
it's all coming together. As always, we have a special inbox with some fun goodies, along with a new title and portrait. Just what I always wanted! How did you know? We also have several days of double drops on various parts of the cantina and a free login calendar with even more gears, shards, and resources. Double drops. All light side battles are rewarding double drops on November 17th and 18th. All dark side battles are rewarding double drops on the 19th and 20th. Mods are the 21st and the 22nd. Fleet battles are the 23rd and the 24th, which is Thanksgiving here in the United States. And all Canadian battles are the 25th and the 26th. You will get a General Grievous portrait. The title Head Clanker. 25 Zetas, 15 Omegas.
Hey! You skipped over the Clone Wars, Chewbacca.
That's the last thing. That's always the last thing. 5 Omega shards, 5 Hunter shards, 5 Tech shards, 5 Record shards, 5 Echo shards, 1 million credits, 1 million ship building material, 30 of each Chirotech, 2 MK3 Carbantes, 2 MK5 stun gun prototypes, 2 MK6 droid collars, 2 MK8 biotech implants, your little black basketballs, 40 fragmented, 20 incomplete, 100 carbonite circuit boards, 80 bronze wings, 20 chromium transistors, 60 MK1 bonding pins, 60 fusion discs, 60 power flow controls, 60 fusion coils, 60 amplifiers, 60 capacitors, 15 of the MK2 circuit breaker modules, 10 of the thermal exchange units, 10 of the variable resistors, 25 of the MK2 pulse modulators, 10 of the MK2 microprocessors, and as Trevor decided to spoil earlier on, it would not be Christmas without 3 Clone Wars Chewbacca shards.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
I was gonna say.
I'm so glad someone caught that.
You want to read the bottom?
Thanks for reading the road ahead, and we hope you enjoyed this video. A huge thank you to all players in the Galaxy of Heroes community, and an extra shout out to all of you who have been here with us for almost 6 years. You're so welcome. I don't know why we're still here, but you're welcome.
Yeah.
The crazy part is, this isn't even everything coming in the next 3 months. Oh my goodness, Papa CG, what do you have? We have more in store for you as we move from the Clone Wars era content onto something you'll never expect. It's Old Republic. Actually, I take that back. It's High Republic. I'm calling High Republic now.
Right.
Stay tuned to the forums for the next title update, and we'll see you on the holotables.
I forgot about the 6 years. You said 6 years. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
6 years of what?
And I was like, I'm reading the notes off Discord, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? 6 years.
Oh, I'm looking at the actual dev post.
And I was like, nah, and then I was like, oh, okay.
So what do we think this new era of content is? I mean, it's got to be the only two things that I think I've already covered are the things I wouldn't expect is going back to the Old Republic, which I'm a huge advocate for. I love the Old Republic, or the High Republic, which is something that Disney's kind of kept their hands off of, other than like they put out the books, they put out the comic books, but outside of the Acolyte TV show, they really haven't done a whole lot to push it into the mainstream.
I think the hard part about the High Republic is the fact that unless you've really gotten into reading everything, nobody knows anything about it really. So while I agree that would be an interesting place for them to go because nobody would expect it, I don't know if that's, I don't know. I just don't know. Old Republic, I have no problem going back to the Old Republic. I wouldn't mind seeing them even go into, like, I don't know if you would still consider it Old Republic if you went back to like, if you went a little forward a little bit, maybe even to like where Darth Bane was or somewhere like that. But even then, you're looking at characters that people don't know very well. My guess is Old Republic at this point, just because I just don't see them going to the High Republic yet.
Trevor, Treble, thoughts?
I'm easy either way. I know Old Republic from the games primarily. High Republic interests me because I don't know anything about it at all. So I think in that regard it'd be interesting, but I'm a bit of a, I enjoy Star Wars. So of course, bring it, show it to me.
Just don't give me a Galactic Legend, Raven.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it makes sense. I mean, to me, I can see a case being made for a Galactic Legend out of that faction or whatever, that era, versus making Jabba a Galactic Legend.
Oh no, I have no problem with seeing a Galactic Legend out of there. I just think we've got enough Revens for now. We can.
Oh yeah, take a break.
I mean, we have how many Chewbacca's and Hans? You don't think we could use another Revan?
I mean, Chewbacca's and Hans weren't forced into the meta for a little over a year either. So
I can see him going two ways. It's hard for me to see them going away from all the TV shows that are coming up. It's money. Mandalorian, Book of Boba, Kenobi show, Ahsoka show. It's hard for me them to break that because it's probably Disney's pulling the strings there. To pushing those. There is content in the Old Republic. If you guys played the Old Republic,
KOTOR.
KOTOR, yeah. I've played a little bit. There's tons of content there. They can dip in that easily. Content for days.
It's pretty well beloved by the whole community already too, for the most part.
It's an old game. And they're making a remake. So I mean, if you get on today, I still get on there once in a while, and I mean there's tons of people playing this game. So there's tons of content there. I don't know much about what's it called, the High Republic.
Yeah.
I don't know much about that. I'd have to look that up. What would you guys think about, like, I know we have the Jedi tag, what about like the High Council from the Jedi?
For the existing Jedi in game or a whole new?
Well, existing, and then they add a couple. Because I feel like that's not been really in the game a lot. Like,
but they're all Jedi already, anyways. Or do you just you're talking about maybe a leader that's only applies to High Council members?
Yeah, like they don't want to do a base rework. What if they give him a High Council tag and make him better?
I think it's going to require reworks in order to make it work. That's the only thing I see with that.
Or Omnicrons.
Yeah.
I think that's the new rework.
Yeah.
Because a rework for a character that's 4 years old right now that everybody already has, maybe it's only sitting at gear 11 or gear 12, but it's 7-star. They're not going to make any money on a rework of that character because everybody's already got them. There's going to be no rush to get them. It's got to be something we don't have. They don't make money on reworks.
Plus, I mean, I know there was talks a couple, I don't know how long ago, but I would like to see a High Council tag. I don't know how much money they would make off of that. You could put Yoda in there. I have to go through the Jedi list, but I think that was something I would enjoy.
I think it comes down to what you do with it.
Yeah.
I got one more bomb that they could do that would completely come out of left field for you guys, and I want to kind of gauge your opinions. Extended universe.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Like old school?
Yeah, like the legend stuff.
Right.
That would not surprise me because at the end of the day, I remember back when Carrie was running the game, she said we have free reign to pull from anything. So they haven't been held back as far as if you wanted to go into that.
What's it called again?
Now it's called Legends.
I have to look it up.
It's basically all the outside stuff, all the stuff that wasn't in the movies at the time. It was the books, all that kind of stuff was the extended universe, basically.
Yeah, basically anything that came before Disney bought out Lucasfilm and recanonized everything.
Right.
So like KOTOR and SWGOH are technically legends.
And is that going to change, I guess, once they release this game? I assume so. I mean, it's pretty fertile ground for them right now to play with.
Yeah, there's a lot they could do. What I really would have loved to have seen was Darth Cassius and Mara Jade, but we don't always get what we want.
Well, I mean, there's rumors, just two things that may or may not be happening. But I don't want to really get too deep into any of that stuff because you're really playing the rumor game at that point.
Are we talking about like without getting into like too big? Are we talking about where they let's Back to the Future this mother?
I wasn't going to go there, but
Okay.
Just kind of the direction that they're taking with this with these new TV shows that are coming out.
And Luke being sort of intertwined in them.
That could be part of it, yes.
Which opens the door for the possibility of a Mara Jade.
Maybe.
It does. So one thing I'd actually kind of like them to see them do, and this kind of ties us back into Disney Plus, is one of the ways you can branch Legends in current continuity is using the World Between Worlds from Rebels as a time point. I mean, love or hate The Last Jedi, we saw Luke do what Obi-Wan did on Tatooine. That is very much a Jedi response. When you fail or your apprentice goes completely off the rails and destroys everything, you go into exile. So this idea that this was beyond Luke's, and I know people are gonna I'm gonna get some hate mail from this one, but this, I think if you put the World Between Worlds, you could honestly see where Luke's timeline splits, and you see him from where he became. His one future was he could become this great Jedi Master, and the second, he's still a great Jedi Master, but things did not progress the way they were intended to.
I think it was a slight difference between them, and I see the parallel you're trying to make, and I agree with it to a point. The only difference was when Obi-Wan went into exile, he went into exile with a purpose, and that was to protect Luke Skywalker. Whereas when Luke Skywalker went into exile, he just basically gave up on everything. And I think that's the part that people really don't like, is not so much that he was in exile, but the fact that you're looking at a broken Luke Skywalker who's given up on everything.
Yeah, but you see a little bit of that in Obi-Wan, which I hope they touch on the TV series. But if you look in like the Legends Obi-Wan book, he gets very close to that point too.
And you're right.
Luke is the only thing that keeps him grounded from going that far. Whereas with Luke, he doesn't have like a greater purpose to keep him there. He doesn't think that he could stop Kylo and Snoke at this point. He thinks it's already too late. Whereas Obi-Wan believes that Luke could stop Vader in the future.
I mean, it's definitely possibilities there. Like I said, I'm not looking to turn this into arguments or anything. Just that's just one of the things. One of the viewpoints I saw about it was it just felt more like a total surrender as opposed to, yeah, I'm running, but I'm running because I have to run to keep this person alive. But yeah. I think you can see it on both fronts.
Oh, for sure.
I got a question.
Okay.
All right, so after everyone took Luke, why didn't he just defeat Anakin? Like I already know he already took Luke and he was trying to protect Luke. But why wouldn't he just go back before Anakin got stronger?
What if he lost?
I mean, there's that, and Obi-Wan for the first while didn't know Vader survived Mustafar.
Exactly.
He
Like he
found
assumed
out
he was
later
dead.
on.
He couldn't feel it. Like they were.
Consider that Vader's force powers were pretty low and depleted at this point. I mean, he lost, what was it, 80% of his force connection to the force from Mustafar. I mean, granted, he was also only about 80% of Palpatine's full power at that point too. So you're talking about someone who Yoda was concerned about Obi-Wan facing down, such as Palpatine. By the time Obi-Wan found out, Vader was already in his prime, and Obi-Wan was on the decline from years of PTSD and no real training outside of spiritual training.
That'd be something nice to go over in the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are going to see some of that in the TV show
because I mean, there's some gaps there.
I mean, I think one of the things, I mean, everybody keeps talking about Hayden Christensen coming back to be Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader, whether he's in the suit or not. And one of the things Kathleen Kennedy said was, you're going to see epic fights between them, and it threw people off. It's like, no, you're going to be watching every moment of that battle, that PTSD battle in Obi-Wan's head, as he sits there and fights Vader every single day in his mind. And trust me, you're gonna see just how broken a man Obi-Wan Kenobi really is at that point. And like Ringer said, I mean, he's the one thing that's holding him on is his purpose of I have to protect this kid, and I have to make sure this kid is our last hope.
Gonna be a good show, and plus he's I think he's gonna be appearing in a Ahsoka show too.
He is supposed to appear outside the suit in Ahsoka. In Kenobi, I think he is supposed to appear both in and outside the suit, as I think they actually are supposed to have a physical battle, not just the mental battle. Where you're going to see Anakin in his Clone Wars gear. You're supposed to see him in his Episode 3 gear, and you're supposed to see him inside the suit.
I mean, there's a gap there. I mean, they could fight again.
Well, they are supposed to. Kathleen Kennedy has said that Vader and Kenobi are supposed to fight one more time. And this is the one where when Vader says, Obi-Wan once thought as you do, this is the part where they think that Kenobi loses full hope and that Vader can be redeemed.
Be good.
As opposed to Revenge of the Sith, which has been the current belief.
Speaking of topics, Disney Plus Day on the 12th.
I'm excited for it.
Any things going on that day?
Well, from what I know, they've already confirmed we're getting a trailer for that Obi-Wan show. We're also supposed to be getting a trailer for a trailer or some kind of special look at the Andor show.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Which brings me back to Ringer. We were talking about possible directions that Galaxy of Heroes can be taking with the Andor show, which I think is supposed to be next after Book of Boba Fett. It could be going back to Rogue One. But moving along, they're saying that we could still see more footage from this Book of Boba Fett. And then there's a rumor that we might be hearing an announcement of a Darth Maul animated series, which would be built into the Underworld. Which if that is announced, I'm 100% excited for that.
Yes, please.
I mean, it's the one thing about the book of Boba Fett that I'm really excited for is the underworld. I really want to see Crimson Dawn, Black Sun, the Pike Syndicate, what's left of them, how they're operating in the galaxy. I mean, that's going to be some interesting stuff to watch.
Yeah, I would like to see them fill in the gap between the end of Solo and when they find Maul on Malachor, and kind of explain how he ended up there.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too, because I mean that Maul doesn't look like a Maul that's part of the underworld anymore. I mean, I'm curious, was he ousted? Did he just walk away from it? It would just be very interesting to see how they played all that out.
So I got another good question. All right, Clone Wars. You remember how you told me to watch it, and I watched it, and Ahsoka and all them, and then like at the end of it, like, are they gonna fill in the gap where Ahsoka is a Mandalorian, and then Ahsoka ended of the Clone Wars?
What do you mean?
I'm not sure I follow either.
All right, so we got Ahsoka and Mandalorian, season
Sure.
2. Okay, we had Ahsoka, the Clone Wars animated show,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I feel like there was more they could put in the Clone Wars show to build her up all to the Mandalorians.
Well,
when
keep-
does
When you
Rebels
consider-
take place?
I would say Rebels is about
Rebels takes place 5 years before A New Hope, season 1.
right, and it leads into where Rogue One is eventually.
Correct.
Right.
I feel like Ahsoka, unless they're going to try to make the Ahsoka show that gap.
No,
Or-
the Ahsoka
yeah.
show is going to be after
Well-
the events where
What we've already
we,
seen,
we
right?
see her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be run concurrently with The Mandalorian, as far as the timeline goes.
I
Yeah.
mean, keep in mind there is an Ahsoka book at this point that does cover a lot of the base between from where she walked away in the Clone Wars TV show up until her time in Rebels. The real question is going to be, where was she between the end of Rebels and where we see her in The Mandalorian?
Where
Okay.
was she for all the movies?
Yeah, more or less.
Vacation.
So they kind of answer this question a little bit, but not fully. If you watch season 2, Fall of the Apprentice or Twilight of the Apprentice, you kind of see her. And if you haven't watched Rebels yet, spoilers, I'm so sorry. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to mute.
You're nicer than others.
You do see her descent into the temple on Malachor. Now, and at the end of Rebels, you see her in more of a Force Priestess gown. Now, to what end that is going to mean, we're gonna maybe see in the Ahsoka show. They might fill in the gaps on what actually happened in the temple. But I think for the most part, that's more or less where she was wherever that temple led to.
Yeah,
Which
but I
could
mean,
be like the Force priestesses like Qui-Gon Jinn and Yoda found in Clone Wars. It could be a whole new.
She was helping Gandalf fight the Barlog.
Yeah, there you go.
But she'll
Well-
come back with a new robe, new threads, and she'll look sharp.
I mean, the only thing to keep in mind there is just remember when she's standing there within those robes. I mean, that's the time period after the movies where we hit right there. So there still is a good few years in there that we don't know. And yeah, she could have been there the whole time, but I kind of hope it isn't that simple as she just sat in a temple for a few years doing stuff. It would be nice to see that she actually did other things.
I mean, she could have found her way into the world between worlds again. I mean, this is. I really hope the Ahsoka show answers it. But I mean, the other part of that is for plot armor reasons. You can't just bring her to the forefront.
Yeah, but I mean, you could tell the story without necessarily putting her in the forefront. Also, I mean, you could say she was off doing. Maybe she was off. Maybe she was already starting to start her search for
Ezra
and
Thrawn.
Thrawn. Yeah, thank you. That's what I meant to say.
All good. No, I was thinking that it's something similar. You know, maybe she was like looking for clues as to how to find them, or who knows what.
Could be.
It'll be exciting when these TV shows come around.
Yeah, there's a lot of area that these TV shows are going to cover and fill in a lot of gaps between not just the originals and the sequel trilogies, but between even just that time period between movies, like within their own trilogies.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of good stuff there, and I like where it's going, and I hope it kind of leads us into something really good.
Brings me another question, but like, where was Ahsoka when like Obi-Wan and Luke went to face Darth Vader? Well, like the old man Obi-Wan.
What do you mean, like at the beginning of A New Hope?
Yeah, I mean, they had to know Ahsoka was there. I mean, it's an older movie, but
To be honest with you, I mean, I don't think Obi-Wan ever didn't encounter her at all after the last time that they were on that ship before she left to go to Mandalore. I mean, for all he knows, she's dead.
I think, yeah, he probably assumes she was killed in Order 66, probably, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
There was nothing to ever give him reason of otherwise.
but if she was still using the Force, why couldn't he just feel her like?
Obi-Wan and Yoda weren't projecting their force like that. They were trying to keep hidden from the Emperor and Vader.
Exactly.
And keep in mind that, I mean, as good Jedi as Obi-Wan was, he wasn't attuned to the Force the way Yoda was. I mean, where Yoda could just sit there and just sit there and
Charles Xavier out.
Yeah, tune into the Force and know what's going on around the galaxy. I mean, he was able to just sit there. He knew when Anakin was in pain when his mother died. He knew what was going. If you went and started watching Rebels, there were moments where Yoda was in tune with what was going on with some of the characters, even on that show. So you could tell just how powerful Yoda was in the Force, but no, I mean, Obi-Wan was nowhere near that level of Force capable.
I just think there's a lot of gaps.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of gaps, but there's I think we're going to get some of those gaps are going to start to close as we start going through some of these shows. And I think the Obi-Wan show is going to do a good job of closing a lot of those gaps right away.
Your BlueStacks manager is up in Twitch.
I saw it. I pressed the wrong button. That's all the topics I got. We'll go ahead and wrap up. Anything else we want to talk about? We covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we didn't cover was what did you guys think of that trailer for the Boba Fett show?
I haven't watched it, so you guys don't have to cover that right now.
I haven't seen it yet.
I mean,
Really?
Dude, I work 16 hours a day.
I'm just asking a question. You get all offensive when I ask you this.
Really? Wail harder. Come on, man.
You see what I got to do with
You see what I gotta deal with. You see how he comes for me every single.
No, I asked a question. You get offensive. Like you're like, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, nothing but love. That's
I'm like, when Saturday comes, I hear from Ringer.
well, as someone who did watch it, I mean, I guess I have to preface everything with I'm not the biggest Boba Fett fan in the world. But that being said, it was a decent trailer. Might have left a couple things out, but overall there were some really cool Easter eggs in there that I didn't expect to see. The visuals were amazing.
It did look good.
Yeah, it's definitely a show that I am looking forward to. I didn't think they were going to take the underworld direction with this show, but it feels like they're going to, and that's kind of why I've gotten a little more excited for this show than I thought I was going to be. Because personally, like I said, as someone who's not a huge Boba Fett fan, the idea of a Boba Fett TV show didn't excite me much. But now I'm more curious. Now I'm definitely more curious and more excited for it.
I'm always happy to see more world building in the Star Wars universe. I'm always happy to see it. And that's exactly what this show I think is going to be. It's going to give us, just like the what is it? Candor or what's the Rogue One show? What's his name again? Why am I Cassian's?
Cassian.
Andor is going to do. I think it's just going to open up a whole new window on an aspect of the Star Wars universe that we haven't seen yet. And that excites me. That's going to be fun.
And that's your homework, guys. Go watch the trailer.
I can now. I'm on vacation.
Actually, it's funny. I start my vacation after this week, so.
Alrighty, anyone got anything else to add?
I'm good.
I'm good too.
All right. Sorry, that was my wife. So we will be back in 2 weeks. Like they said, that's gonna be on the 6-year anniversary. Maybe we get Ringer to dress up.
Hope springs eternal.
I appreciate everybody stopping in. I did see Ray Rock here. It looks like we've had a good following. Like 11 to 15 people showed up, so I appreciate everybody stopping in. Like I said, hopefully we'll have some. If not, we'll. Oh, that was Ringer. I was like, who's chatting? So hopefully we'll have some new content. If not, we'll just do some random stuff and see how it goes. But hopefully we'll have something in 2 weeks. Hopefully.
You can get my my full review on Relic 7 Cam.
We could do that. We do some reviews. Well, we always do Mod Day. I mean, that's very popular. So I mean, we'll figure out something if we don't get any new content. Good night, Ray Rock. Appreciate you. I thought about raiding Tessenex. You know, he was on the channel last time. Everybody good with that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Really good.
Okay. I'll set that up. Until next time, you guys can follow us on the Discord. Ringer already put the link in there. Most of you guys are already there. But we all stream on Twitch. Hit us up. Like I said, I'm gonna set this right up. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And I appreciate you guys popping in. I appreciate these guys doing this every 2 weeks with me. I know sometimes it is rough trying to schedule wise, but I appreciate you guys coming out here with me as well.
It's a great time. So
It's a labor of love.
Yeah, labor of love. Even though Trouble, he likes to come in my streams and don't say nothing.
Hey, you know, you need lurkers. You got to get those numbers up.
I know. I see you every time, and I'm like,
I know.
Mother effer.
Now you're like, do I say something?
I call him out, and I'm like, I know you're here. I can see you're here.
Look, I need you in my streams, man. I'm pushing that partner and sponsor number. I need the bodies.
You go too early for me.
I can't help that. That's my lunch break.
I know, but I can't help it either. Like I don't get up at 5 a.m. to watch people stream.
Just leave it on my channel. Just leave it on my channel. Just leave the computer up. It's fine.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. We're on Raid SNX, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Okay, take care, everybody.
Later.
Cheers.
Yeah.